What's up, my bones? It's your favorite neighborhood pirate wolf boy, SilverDFanng, saying, how's it going? More YouTube reactions. This time, The Fat Electrician, The Life of Colonel Sanders. We learn how insane the man that created the 23 spice chicken was. Enjoy. So, the first one I have on the docket is Anger Issues and Fried Chicken, The Life of Colonel Sanders, by The Fat Electrician. Okay, this already sounds amazing.
There is absolutely nothing that is going to prepare you for how crazy this story actually is.
I believe you.
Today we're talking about Colonel Sanders. Yes, the KFC guy. Okay, according to a 2010 study, only 40% of Americans between the ages of 19 and 25 knew that Colonel Sanders was a real person, and even less.
So, I know a little bit about this. Yes, he was a real dude. He was not a colonel. He, I think he wasn't even in the military, but if he was in the military, it was, not colonel. It was not that high up.
People know that he was a complete gangster his entire life. Okay, most people don't realize this, but the sweet elderly Southern gentleman from the KFC logo didn't start selling Kentucky Fried Chicken until he was 66 years old. Prior to that, he had done every job under the sun. He worked for the railroad. He used to be a lawyer until he lost his law license for beating up his own clients in open court. He used to be involved in turf wars with bootleggers and oil companies during the Great Depression. He has been in, won, and is undefeated in gunfights. He is
Yeah, the colonel is probably the most Southern man you can ever think of. If you can think of a Southern stereotype, he did it. I'm doing a subathon. I'll be in my VC when it starts, so hop by if you want to talk or play games after stream. Ooh, definitely. Also, you changed your name from Doesn't Matter the Demon? Okay. But yeah, the colonel was a gangster. He was a straight up country gangster. God, this man, literally, it makes sense that he created a mystery chicken that happens to work, because this man is a mystery.
Notorious adulterer that once bragged that he was still getting laid at 83 years old. This dude cussed so much that KFC had to heavily edit every TV and radio ad spot he ever did.
I love that.
Go f yourself, San Diego. Ah! Nice work, everyone.
And I could keep going, but we're going to cover all of it in the story right after a word from our sponsor.
Delete me.
This is new. We're going to support them.
Yeah.
Neither. There's a third option.
A third gun has appeared.
Oh. Didn't know you were packing.
No respect. All right, here's the deal. Super simple, straightforward business model. You give them money, they turn around and make sure that data brokers on the internet aren't selling your personal information. What does that even mean? Okay, here's the entire internet and every free service on the planet inside of a nutshell. Okay, there's a saying, if you're not paying for the product, you are the product. What that means is pretty much anything on the internet that you use, that's a service. Whether that be Google, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, all of it, okay? It's all an app. So one of two things is happening. They're either going to feed you ads, and that's how that company makes money since their service is free, or they're going to collect your personal information, then turn around and sell it to data brokers on the internet, and then they're going to turn around and sell it to whoever buys it, and next thing you know, you're getting 17,000 robocalls every single day. And that's where Delete Me.
I hate that this exists. I'm glad Delete Me exists, but I hate the fact that we live in a society where people literally have made companies doing protecting human rights, because we've just come to the understanding that people are going to know everything about me and try to use me as a cash cow. If you don't want to be a cash cow, give little less money to this cash cow so we protect you from the other cash cows. It's the same with VPNs. It shouldn't exist. I'm glad it does, but it shouldn't exist.
comes in, they will look through all the major data brokers and find the ones that are selling your personal information and submit opt-out requests on your behalf, and then they are legally obligated to comply. And then they'll continue to monitor these data brokers, and if they get your information again, Delete Me will submit an opt-out request again. Basically, you're paying Delete Me to get rid of all the downsides of all of the free stuff on the internet, which I think is absolutely worth it. If you want to check them out, I'll have a link and a discount code down below. Let's get back to the video. Our story begins on September 9th, 1890 in Henryville, Indiana, when a young Harlan Sanders is born on a farm. He is
whoa. Not Kentucky? Liar.
Oldest of 3 siblings, and like pretty much every other story I've ever told of somebody that was born in the 18 or 1900s, he had a really rough childhood with a lot of manual labor. Just wasn't a good time all around. At the age of 5 years old, his father passes away, and his mother has to step up and be the breadwinner for the whole family, so she's always gone working at a factory in town, and 5-year-old Harlan basically has to raise his younger siblings by himself, literally starts cooking all the food for the family at 5 years old. Fast forward, he's 12 years old. Harlan's mother finds a new husband. They get married. Harlan and the stepdad do not get along whatsoever. Shortly after this, he leaves home at the age of 12. For the next 4 years, he just kind of bums around the area, working on farms, doing manual labor jobs, and then at the age of 16, he falsifies his birth certificate to join the army, gets in, deploys to Cuba, serves his entire enlistment, and then comes back home. While in the army, he picks up the habit of, as he puts it, cussing like a sailor, using excessive profanity. People later in his life said he couldn't go a single sentence without including the term goddamn.
Goddamn clucking chicken, here's your 2-piece order, goddamn it.
In his own autobiography, he said, and I quote, "I used to cuss the prettiest you ever heard." So 18 years old, goes back home, gets a job with the railroad, starts traveling all over the country, working for the railroad. While he's on the road, he meets a woman by the name of Josephine King. They wind up getting married, start having kids. So Josephine's back home with the kids. He's still working with the railroad. Obviously, he's gone a lot. And while he's gone, he decides he's going to cheat on his wife.
I knew it. I haven't watched this, but I knew railroad wife. Yeah, no, dude has a mistress in every port town that he stops in, because it's just that time. Man with no father figure works at age 14. Yeah, this man is fucking and cheating wherever he goes. He doesn't care.
Like a lot, or as he referred to it as tomcatting. So he's going all over the country just slinging, which is foreshadowing at its finest. Okay, not
double
great,
entendre.
but that's what happened, and it also gets worse. He also got fired from different jobs at different railroads a lot. Sometimes he was working for the railroad, sometimes he was like a traveling door-to-door salesman. He just kept bouncing from job to job to job because he had a humongous anger problem and was always getting in fistfights and beating the shit out of people.
That is correct. The medulla oblongata.
Mama
The medulla oblongata is where anger, jealousy, and aggression come from.
After a while, his wife Josephine, understandably so, is fed up with his shit, and she decides while he's on the road, she's gonna leave him. He's lost his job too many times. He's cheating on her.
Good for her.
She's out. She gives up the house. She sells all the furniture. She takes the kids and moves back home with her parents.
Good
and
for her.
Harlan is awkwardly pissed off about the furniture. Like, he's mad about the kids too, but he's very upset about the furniture for some reason. Like, in his autobiography, he says, and I quote, "That hurt me. I figured she didn't have any right to take my children or give away my furniture." He is equally as concerned about the furniture as he is about the kids, which
I just want to explain that this man is probably in his 80s when he's doing his memoirs. He is absolutely has a ghostwriter. So I'm just imagining this 80-year-old Colonel Sanders sitting on a wicker chair looking outside while this like 30-year-old journalist is writing for him, and he's like, "I didn't care that she left. I was upset by the kids, but that fucking furniture. Do you know how much that was? That was pure mahogany." Write that down.
I don't understand, but whatever. And it's probably because the furniture's gone. She gave it away. There's nothing he can ever do to get his precious furniture back. The kids, on the other hand, she still has the kids. They're at Grandma and Grandpa's house living with Josephine. He could still do something about that. So, like a rational adult, he decides he's going to go to court and fight for custody of his kids. No, I'm just kidding. He concocts a plan where he's going to go wait in the woods outside of Grandma and Grandpa's house, and he's going to kidnap the kids.
Yep.
That's a terrible idea.
Again, in his own words, although I didn't consider it rightly kidnapping since they was mine. So he heads over to Grandma.
This poor ghostwriter just listening to this old man. You created a chicken franchise? Yes, I did. But before that, here's all the crimes that I did and why I should be in prison.
On Grandpa's house, hiding in the woods in a pile of leaves, waiting for the kids to come outside to play. He's then going to snatch up the kids, take them to the train station, and bounce. This is the early 1900s. They're never going to catch him. So he's out in the woods, laying in this pile of leaves, waiting for the kids to come out to play, and he's just waiting, and he's waiting, and then eventually the sun comes up. It's Kentucky. It's summertime. It starts getting hot. He starts getting sweaty. There's flies buzzing around, and after hours of waiting, the kids still haven't come out. He's like, okay, this isn't going to fucking work. So he decides he's just going to go up to the door and knock. Goes up to the door, knocks on the door. His father-in-law answers the door and just says, howdy, Harlan, and invites him in because, you know, it's the father of his children. Why wouldn't you do that? He has no idea the guy was just planning to kidnap his grandkids. Harlan, his father, and Josephine then proceed to sit down in the living room and have awkward small talk for a little while. And he, like, just gets up eventually and is like, I guess I'm gonna go. And Josephine is like, where are you going? And he's like, I found a new job in Illinois working for the rail company. I'm gonna head out there. And she goes, no, I think you better stay with me. And that was it. They stayed married for another 37 years. Now he's got his family back, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Z.
You had me going there for the first part. The second half kind of threw me.
Absolutely zero life lessons learned.
Me too.
Keeps cussing, keeps fighting, keeps cheating on his wife, goes back to working for the railroad. Eventually, he decides he wants to better himself. He wants to get a better career, make more money for his family, the whole 9 yards. So he starts studying to become a lawyer via correspondence, basically taking college classes through the mail. Think of it as like antique version of online schooling. That's what he does. Winds up studying to become a lawyer through correspondence, passes the bar, and becomes a lawyer. Does that for a little while, has a pretty successful law career spooling up, and then one day, in open court, his temper gets the better of him.
A medulla oblongata.
We don't know the exact context of what happened, but every account of what happened has a chair involved. Some accounts say that his own client attacked him with a chair. Some accounts say it was the other way around and he beat the shit out of his client with a chair. Either way, he turned the open courtroom into a WWE match.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
Because of this, he obviously loses his law license and goes back to job hopping. So he's a door-to-door salesman for insurance, and then after that, he decides he wants to be an entrepreneur, so he spools up an illegal ferrying operation across the Ohio River. The police eventually put a kibosh to that, so then he goes to work for Michelin Tire, being a tire salesman. And finally, that goes good. That's going great. The dude can sell tires like a motherfucker. He works his way up from being a salesman to like the regional director for the entire tri-state area that he's in, and he's like one of the big wigs at Michelin Tire. But then karma finally catches up to him, and we kick off the lifelong saga of karma desperately trying to put Harlan Sanders, this madman, in his place, and Harlan Sanders just adamantly refusing. One day he's driving his Model T with Michelin tires across the bridge, and the fucking bridge collapses, totaling his car. And at this point in time, he doesn't have enough money to buy a new car, so Michelin Tires fires him because you can't work for Michelin Tires as a tire salesman if you're not using Michelin tires, which...
Wait, what? Oh my God, that feels like some okay, I had two thoughts. That's some disgusting bullshit that like corporations would do today, and I just remember, wait, no. So this is why back in like the 40s, unions were such important, well no, the New Deal was actually the 30s. This is why the New Deal was so important because, yeah, early 1900s, late 1800s, it was a Wild West for, like, human rights when it comes to corporations. And we kind of just got complacent and forgot history and why that was important. And over the decades, yep, we're back to 1910. Little Jimmy, 8-year-old, get into those gears. We need to oil them up. God damn, people are stupid.
Is kind of fucked up, but also, like, there's no Amish electricians, so I get it.
Oh, right, because I'm Amish, so I wouldn't know anything about your 69 GTO Judge. 455 big block, Ram Air, 411 Posi, something like that? Weird, that thing must have fallen straight from space. Well, good luck with your future ride, spaceman.
So he takes what money he does have and he starts acetylene lamp business. Gotta remember, this is like 1820s. Not everybody has electricity in their house with light bulbs, so people are using these little gas lamps to, you know, put on the table to be able to see at night. He starts a business making those. Very quickly, electricity becomes readily available, puts him out of business. Karma is just trying to shut this guy down. So he decides, all right, I'm gonna have to go to the next big town over. I'm gonna have to go get a job, don't have a car, I'm broke. So he hitchhikes to Louisville, Kentucky, and the first car to pick him up tells him his life story, and the guy's like, I actually own a gas station, and I'm looking for somebody to run it for me. You think you can do it? And Harlan Sanders is like, sure, why not? So he takes over this gas station, starts running it. Somewhere along the line, he comes up with the idea of like, hey, I could be more competitive and I could get all the business from all the truckers if I start selling food at my gas station.
True.
So he already likes cooking food, and that's what he does. He starts making food, selling it at his gas station, and then he gets all the trucker business as well. The gas station is outrageously successful. Karma kicks in again. The Great Depression happens, shuts this small gas station down, puts him out of business. From here, Shell Oil Company reaches out to him and is like, hey, we knew you were super successful at running this other gas station in the small town in Kentucky. We have another gas station that's right on the main highway that's going to be able to stay open during the Great Depression because it gets all this traffic from the highway. We want you to run it. Harlan Sanders takes the job. So he moves out to Corbin, Kentucky, where this gas station is, and this place is super ghetto. It's literally nicknamed Hell's Half Acre. You gotta remember, this is the Great Depression. Everybody's poor.
Yeah.
Poor people commit crime to feed their kids. So you got that going on. On top of that, you've got Prohibition. This is right by the highway. All the bootleggers are running their booze through this area. There's all kinds of crime. So he takes over this gas station, starts selling gas, starts selling food, but he needs people to know that there's food around. So he starts putting up signs and everything saying like, hey, we're a gas station that also serves food. This is Kentucky in like 1930, whatever the fuck. And people just love shooting at signs, I guess. And it gets so bad that you can't even read the signs.
What do you mean 1930s Kentucky? I'm pretty sure if you put up a sign in 2026 Kentucky, you're still going to get bullet holes. Kentucky, I don't think has evolved since it was created.
Because there's so many bullet holes in them. So he comes up with an alternative idea of he goes to all of the farmers in like a 50-mile radius and pays them to be able to paint a big advertisement on the side of their barn, because people aren't going to be shooting at a farmer's barn because they could hit somebody or hit an animal, or a farmer's going to come out with a shotgun and fucking shoot you back. And it's a brilliant idea, and it's working really, really good. And it starts cutting into the other rival gas station.
Prehistoric Kentucky. Cave Kentuckians!
Incoming ad break.
I'm actually okay with Gremlin Kentucky. That would be a fun sequel movie.
Business, and that gas station is owned by a guy by the name of Matt Stewart, and he's pissed off about it. So he goes around and starts painting over Harlan's barn signs. Harlan finds out about this, so like an adult with a cool, rational head, goes over to Stewart's gas station and very politely tells him to stop, or, and I quote, I'll blow your fucking head off.
As you do.
Wow.
Okay, Harlan Sanders is not going to tolerate people messing with his money.
Playing with my money is like playing with my emotions.
A couple weeks later, Harlan's got a big day. Some Shell Oil executives, 2 of them, are coming to town to have a meeting with Harlan about how well his gas station is performing. And while they're sitting in the gas station having a meeting, talking about how great of a job Harlan's doing, one of the employees comes in and lets him know, hey, Matt Stewart is out on the side of the road right now painting over one of your advertisements on farmer so-and-so's barn. At which point, Harlan says, I told that motherfucker what I was gonna do, so he grabs his gun. The Shell Oil executives also grab guns, and they go out and confront Matt Stewart. As soon as they get out of the car, Matt Stewart draws a gun, fires at them, killing one of the Shell Oil executives, to which Harlan Sanders then shoots him in the shoulder, drops him on the ground, disarms him, and waits for the police to come arrest him. Harlan is found innocent because it was self-defense, and Matt Stewart now gets convicted of murder and would later be assassinated in prison.
What am I supposed to do with that? Like, no stupid joke I make would be anywhere as funny and insane as the man that created KFC, a bunch of Shell employees went to a barn, was like, hey, stop doing that thing we told you not to do. So that man's like, I have my gun, shoots one of the execs, then goes into a gun war. Turns out Sanders was just protecting himself because Kentucky is caveman logic. But the man that was protecting his own place, and like literally people showed up with guns to kill him, dies in prison. What am I supposed to do with that? Reality is already insane.
And from here, Harlan Sanders is not shy about using a firearm to get his way. There's another account where bootleggers were trying to siphon gas out of his pumps in the middle of the night, and he runs out in nothing but his underwear and confronts them and holds them at gunpoint until the sheriff shows up to arrest them. This goes on for a while. Very successful gas station. Eventually, Harlan...
I gotta read that again. There are two types of men. Those who fear having to fight a home intruder naked. Those who intend to... People who sleep naked, do you all ever think about emergencies? What if someone breaks in? You fight naked. Roddy's right. Do you know what's scarier than a bat or a gun? An angry, half-asleep, naked man with a flaccid dick coming at you.
And he runs out in nothing but his underwear and confronts them and holds them at gunpoint until the sheriff shows up to arrest them. This goes on for a while. Very successful gas station. Eventually, Harlan ends up owning the gas station himself, at which point he kicks it into overdrive. Now he's going around tearing down signs from the competition and putting up his own signs instead. The exact thing that he was pissed off at doing, but now he's going to do it to other people. And then, just like what happened with him, one of the other rival gas station owners runs out to confront him, at which point he pulls out a gun and tells them to get back in their fucking car. And they do.
Medulla oblongata.
So as you can see, through a combination of great food and gun violence, Harlan Sanders becomes the most successful gas station in the area, which is the most southern thing that's ever happened, ever. And by 1939, he's making more money from food than he is from selling gas, so he decides he's just gonna sell more food and quit selling gas, and he opens up a 140-seat restaurant and then eventually expands that business to have a motel right next door as well. Now, the problem he runs into here is being able to cook food at the standard that he likes to cook food at in the quantity that this restaurant is now demanding. And the big problem he has is with the fried chicken. Everybody loves his fried chicken. He's got a secret blend of 11 herbs and spices. Everybody loves it. But the problem is real fried chicken is cooked in boiling grease on a skillet over the stove, and you just can't cook it very fast. It takes too long, you can't make bulk batches, and the wait times at the restaurant is just taking forever. So he develops a way to cook fried chicken inside of a pressure cooker, which still makes it taste way better than if you deep fry it. And this takes the cook time on his fried chicken from like 30 plus minutes down to 7.
I'll be honest, if you've ever seen a pressure cooked deep fryer, they're fucking insane. It's just this massive vat of oil that they kind of like just intensify with air pressure. It's so cool.
Or 8 minutes. So he's got that figured out. Things are going great. He's got his new restaurant, his new motel right in 1939. And then karma steps in to try to shut him down again. 1939, World War II kicks off for America. And all of a sudden, America is now rationing rubber and gas, meaning less people are traveling. And his entire business is built right on the highway and relies on highway travelers. So he's not making enough money. But Harlan Sanders, not taking no for an answer, refuses to quit, keeps running his motel and his restaurant business, but also takes a job in Tennessee, which is nearby, at a place called Oak Ridge, because the government has thrown up some new facility where they're making something and they need somebody to come in and run all the cafeterias to feed the workers, and he oversees the cooking of 36,000 meals a day to feed all of these people working at this secret government facility. Does that through the rest of World War II. When World War II ends, that job kind of comes to an end. They no longer need this factory for whatever reason, so he goes back to his hotel and restaurant, which everything's fine now because they're no longer rationing gas and tires and people are traveling again. And later we would find out that the Oak Ridge facility in Tennessee is where they refined all the plutonium for the Manhattan Project, which we used to nuke Japan. Which
you can't make this shit up. Yeah, so the man that created Kentucky Fried Chicken, yeah, he ran the catering business that fed all of the plutonium workers for the Manhattan Project. America is weird.
Makes it kind of awkward that it's a Christmas tradition in Japan to order KFC, but whatever. So,
oh my God, I didn't even think about that. Oh my God. Here, honey, let's eat chicken, KFC chicken on this holiday that we don't really care about, brought to us by Americans after they shot us with a bomb. Like, oh my God. America has no understanding of human rights. Yeah, where was the scene when Oppenheimer went to the factories and Colonel Sanders gave him a 2-piece of chicken? I wanted that. That should have been right after his 10-minute imaginary scene of him cheating on his wife and like talking to all of these officials while while fucking his mistress. That should have been that, and then right after Colonel Sanders' chicken.
Comes back home, starts running his restaurant and hotel full-time, hires a new female employee, starts having an affair on his wife with her. Her name is Claudine Price. Shortly after that affair, he divorces his wife, marries her instead in 1947. Then in 1952, he meets another wealthy restaurant owner from Salt Lake City, Utah by the name of Pete Harmon. Pete Harmon tries his fried chicken, and he's like, holy shit, this stuff is awesome. Can I franchise this? I'll buy the secret blend of herbs and spices from you. You don't got to give me the secret. I'll just buy it straight from you. Show me how to do this with a pressure cooker, and I want to sell it in my restaurants in Salt Lake City, Utah, and I'll give you 4 cents for every piece of chicken that we sell. Colonel Sanders is like, sure. Why not? So that's what happens. Pete Harmon starts selling Sanders chicken in his restaurants, and he needs to brand it somehow. So he's from a different part of the country, so he names it Kentucky Fried Chicken and gives it the slogan, finger licking good. And Harlan doesn't really see the potential in it. He just kind of treats it as like, passive revenue that this guy's mailing him a check every month and just keeps running his restaurant and motel. And then his chicken becomes like kind of famous in the area. It's getting some notoriety, and the governor of Kentucky makes him a Kentucky colonel, which is like this honorary status in the state of Kentucky. And he's like, cool, that's great, whatever. So now he's Colonel Sanders. And then around the same time, he also started a side business where he was a midwife. I told you the story was weird. Yeah, he's just going around rural Kentucky as fucking Colonel Sanders, the chicken guy, helping people deliver babies. We don't know much about it other than the fact that it...
What are you supposed to say to this? The man known for cheating on every woman he's ever had becomes a midwife while he also runs his motel chicken franchise. Like what the fuck?
Happened, and he delivered at least 8 kids, and one of them ended up getting named after him.
Mazel tov.
He was later interviewed and asked, like,
this is my son that you help me give birth. Welcome. This is Colonel Jeffries.
How did you become a midwife? What training do you have? How did you even know how to do this? He simply replied, and I quote, "Oh, I know a little about it." Apparently, if you've seen enough vaginas, you just kind of know what you're doing, I guess. You can put stuff in one, you can pull stuff out of one. That makes sense, right? I guess.
Checks out.
One of his...
This is a nice looking baby. It's finger licking good.
Personal acquaintances later in life actually joked that he got involved in being a midwife because he was concerned that the kids were his. Which brings me to his next side gig that he started after being a midwife, which was being a vampire hunter. No, I'm just kidding, but the fact that you believe me for a second speaks volumes about this guy. Buh! Are you going to talk about his pet crow? Buh! God, fine. Okay, look, Colonel Sanders has plenty of character flaws. However, there is a multiple humongous myths on the internet that he was like a prolific racist, ranging from he was a member of the KKK, which is not true, to he stole the secret blend of herbs and spices from his house servant when he was a child, which also isn't true. The dude grew up extremely poor. He didn't have servants in his house in the 1800s. And then there's the myth that he had a pet crow in his original restaurant, and the pet crow's name was Jim. Get it? Jim Crow in the South in the 1950s. No, that never happened. I have searched and scoured. There is no...
Look. Yeah. White man in the South. I get it. Not every white man in the South was racist. They were complacent, but they weren't racist. He was a philanderer. He was a notorious cheater. He definitely killed a lot of people he really shouldn't. He definitely destroyed a lot of businesses, but he wasn't out and out racist, just complacent.
No historical evidence to actually prove this. There's just a bunch of blog posts dating back to the early 2000s that insinuate this shit. That's where it all started from, I'm 99% sure. If on the off chance you have some historical evidence, let me know in the comments down below. I'll pin the comment if I'm wrong, but I highly doubt it. Colonel Sanders, deeply flawed, cheats on his wife, anger issues, not some crazy prolific racist. However. True. But that's not going to stop karma from coming from him. So, his restaurant and motel both burned down to the ground. Colonel Sanders, not taking no for an answer, rebuilds the restaurant, rebuilds the motel. Shortly after that, it burns down to the ground again. Colonel Sanders and karma are now in a shootout, so he rebuilds the business a second time, and then the government comes in and reroutes the highway and completely shuts him out. That's it, game over. He goes out of business. He is 65 years old, and his only income is his Social Security check, and that's just not enough. And Colonel Sanders is like, not taking no for an answer. So he takes his pressure cooker and his secret blend of herbs and spices, throws it in the trunk, Claudine hops in the car with him, and he just goes from town to failing restaurant, and is like, hey, would you like to be a KFC franchise, a Kentucky Fried Chicken franchise? My chicken is so good, it will save your failing restaurant. And for the next 5 years, at 65 years old through 70 years old, he travels the country getting people to franchise his chicken. Him and his wife are literally sleeping in their car, and he's 65 to 70 years old the entire time. But during that
How old is she? How old was the secretary, fat electrician?
years, they get 200 people to franchise their chicken.
God
3
damn.
years after that, he's up to 600. Other things that happened during this time period. Him and Claudine go out to breakfast one morning at a diner while they're on the road trying to get chicken franchises, and he orders some eggs. The eggs roll up. They're not cooked right. He sends the eggs back. The chef says the eggs are cooked right and sends them back to him.
No, Colonel Sanders, you're wrong.
Colonel Sanders then proceeds to pick up the eggs, get out of the booth, walk into the diner's kitchen, and throw the eggs at the chef, at which point the chef rushes him with a kitchen knife, and Colonel Sanders, at the age of somewhere between 65 and 70, fins him off with a bar stool.
Medulla oblongata.
Another thing that happens during this time period is he's going to all these failing restaurants, and essentially they're just buying the chicken. They're not officially becoming KFCs yet. It's still mom and pop's diner, but they also sell Kentucky Fried Chicken there. And some of these restaurants are still failing, despite the fact they're now serving Kentucky Fried Chicken. So he hires a guy to help these restaurants out, to go in there and show them how to run a restaurant up to the Colonel's standard to help these businesses thrive. So that guy goes in there, fixes a bunch of KFCs, makes some profitable businesses. Colonel Sanders pays him a bunch of money. He turns around and uses that money to start his own chain of restaurants selling burgers, and that guy's name was Dave Thomas, and he named his burger chain after his daughter.
Let's go! Oh my god! Oh my god, this is so insane. The man that created the system for KFC to be thriving created a better fast food. Suck it.
Indeed. Damn. I told you it's a weird story, okay? You were warned. Now, this is also the same time period where he starts really leaning into the Colonel Sanders persona that we know today. He starts marketing himself as Colonel Sanders. People start calling him and knowing him as Colonel Sanders. This is when he started wearing the white suit that we all know today, because his kitchens and KFCs were so cleanly that you could work in the back of the kitchen and not get food product all over you. This is when he started dyeing his mustache and goatee all white and kind of like amping up the Southern accent and the Southern gentleman persona. Then the business model kind of shifts from just franchising the chicken itself and letting these random restaurants serve KFC to having a restaurant that was just what we know as today, a KFC, a place that just sells fried chicken.
No. Nowadays, we know it as KFC Taco Bell. Because most KFCs are also Taco Bell because they're owned by the same company now.
On the company has a ton of locations, and by 1964 he is 74 years old, and it's finally time for him to retire. People are wanting to buy the company. He doesn't want to sell the company because he knows they're going to fuck up the quality of his food.
True.
They're going to ruin it. He doesn't want to do it, but his family pressures him into it. He finally relents and sells KFC for $2 million plus a deal to be a lifelong brand ambassador for $40,000 to $80,000 per year. Shortly after he sells the company goes public. As soon as they go public, now the company is more concerned about making a return investment for their shareholders than they are about putting out quality food. So they go in and just completely ruin the quality, just like he was concerned with. They quit using the pressure cookers and start using deep fryers. They go away from his original recipe and add extra crispy, which he was furious about and said was nothing more than a fried dough ball on top of a piece of chicken. And then this final straw was when they changed the recipe to his gravy. He was absolutely furious. He went inside of a KFC, tasted this gravy for the first time, threw it on the floor, and said it was nothing more than wallpaper paste. They just mixed tap water and a bunch of starch together and called it gravy.
I'm really sorry.
Yeah. Well, hey, I'm really sorry, too.
Colonel Sanders in...
So I think this is the point where I should say something that I've been holding till now. Yeah, I don't like KFC. I think KFC year after year has gotten worse. I think, yeah, the seasoning is great, but like you said, they don't care about the product. It's more gimmicky stuff. It's more just like weird, outlandish stuff, but the taste of it is not good. I prefer Popeyes. I like Popeyes. Heck, I like Church's more. There's a Canadian brand called Mary Brown's that's also a lot better than KFC. It's just the brand. It's just the fact that KFC's been around so long. But the truth is, the quality of food is just not good. Not even for fast food. It's not worth it.
Proceeds to spend the rest of his life until he's 90 years old talking so much shit about KFC ruining his recipes, they had to sue him to get him to stop. He was a royal pain in the ass for KFC until he passed away from pneumonia at the age of 90. And that is the story of Colonel Sanders. Yes, he was real. Yes, all of that is true. Is he a good role model?
No.
Probably not, but you have to admire his ability to push through adversity and not take no for an answer. Thank you for watching. Best way to support the channel is go buy some merch, maybe drink some Echelon, go check out Pepperbox. Links for all those are over at thefatelectrician.com. Quack bang, out.
Holy shit. That man, oh, Colonel Sanders, that man. Still hate modern KFC, but like, look, Sanders was not a good man, but you gotta appreciate his gumption. He never let anything ruin him. He just got right back up. God damn. Thanks for checking out this video. Check me out on Twitch, SilverDFanng, 2 N's in Fang. Check me out on Twitter and Blue Sky under the same name. Also TikTok. Have a great night.